Greetings and welcome to the Horror Daddies Podcast,
A podcast where we talk about horror movies.
and the daddies in them. And what did we watch today, Jonathan?
Wait, we're not gonna introduce ourselves?
People know me. I'm Carlos.
What
up?
about the new people watching right now? Hi guys, thank you for liking and subscribing.
Why are y'all starting with this?
We got many episodes. Oh, some good ones, but yeah, we're gonna watch Final Destination.
Or better grammar, we already watched Final Destination.
I guess that's true.
Not that we are gonna watch, but you guys are gonna watch Final Destination through our voices, or if you're watching
in
us
your ears
through our eyes.
Mm.
Ear sex.
Our voices are buttery smooth.
Ew.
No, but the 2000s Final Destination.
Yeah.
Which was a huge movie at the time. I
Yes.
remember that shit being everywhere. Now I was a little baby. I was a little kid.
So directed by James Wong and written by Glenn Morgan, with a budget of $23 million, ended up grossing $112.8 million worldwide.
Yeah, we're
So,
swimming on that money.
yes, it was a success. I personally did not see this one first. I started off with the second one.
Which is a trend.
Yeah.
You either start with the remake or with the sequel.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it was whatever my mom was watching and I was just there. Not my fault.
You should have
It's
chosen
not like
better.
she's like, hold on, Carlo, let's put on the first one so you can catch up on what's going on. She didn't give a fuck. She put on a movie.
You watch whatever I'm watching.
Yeah. And then the third one. So for me in this franchise, the second and third one are personal favorites of mine. I don't hate this one, but I don't like it as much as other
That's the
people.
one, too.
Yeah, I do prefer this 2 and 3. Maybe 3. It's been a while since I've seen them all.
Yeah, I think today we might just watch a few of them.
So these movies, funny story, they're always streaming somewhere. I tend to skip them though.
Yeah.
And the reason is because they're kind of super realistic in some sense.
Not gonna lie, today I've been a little bit of on edge. Literally, I was setting up the light and one of them fell and I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna die.
So I tend to just not watch them because I just don't want to I don't want to get very like paranoid.
Yeah.
So I tend to skip them. But with this movie, my issues are because, they started something. And I think me watching the sequels may have clouded my mind with this, but so in this movie, we starting Devin Sawa as Alex. I'm just gonna let's say the characters before I get started. Ali Carter as Clear.
Not Claire.
Clear.
How you would expect. Clear, bitch. Like water.
She a ghost. Kurt Smith as Carter. Daddy. Kristen Cole. Thank you.
Sorry.
Kristen Cole as Miss Luton. We have Chad Donella as
Ese mismo.
Todd.
Yep.
Sorry, y'all names here. Amanda Detmer as Terry. And
I legit thought you were gonna say Deep Throat. I was like, Carlos.
Sorry. I gotta start writing better. And then Sean William Scott as Billy, another daddy. Y'all might know him as Stifler in American Pie.
Yep.
And
he was like huge too. Like I remember everyone talking about him.
I always had the biggest crush on him. Oh my God.
I do have not a funny story, but it's like this was the first movie I watched.
Okay.
From this one. And I remember I liked it, but it traumatized me because I have a fear of flying. Like I did not. I've been better.
I can see that. Okay.
But I was like literally okay. So my ride to Puerto Rico from Puerto Rico here when I moved to Florida, it was raining. It was like in the middle of the night, and I remember crying. Like my dad still remembers it, and we always talk about it because I remember crying. I was terrified. We would go up, and I thought there was lightning, but it was just the lights, like the little blinker lights.
Yeah.
And all I kept thinking was this movie, because this movie I think was the one that cemented that fear of like just afraid of flying.
Okay.
And even now, it's like that's a really creepy scene.
Yeah.
Like that flight scene is fucked up. Like it's really fucked. And not so much like the other ones didn't scare me as much. And I think it's because then they went super extreme, where it's like super bonkers. Like the death scenes are just insane. That it felt like the realism kind of I kind of could separate it. I could just be like, this is like a stretch. Like this is it's crazy and it looks cool, but like
Mm-hmm.
it's too much of a stretch for me to even think that it's possible, you know?
Like which one?
So like the NASCAR scene,
Oh, I mean, we're talking about 4. Because I will say,
like one,
the
third
the
one,
trilogy, solid.
solid.
In
Okay.
my opinion, the first 3 are very solid.
After that, it's like, what is
The
happening?
NASCAR one, it's like the least fan favorite, from what I hear on the internet.
Yeah, I liked 5. Oh, is it 5 the last one?
5 is
Yeah.
the last one. 5 is with the bridge.
Yeah.
That's another
Even though the bridge, that one, that still is kind of crazy.
That's where I could say that's a little overdone.
But the rest of the movie is pretty good.
So here's my thing, because you mentioned realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say it's an issue, but with this movie, so they all seem kind of supernatural, yes. But with this one, you actually see that they do like this wavy effect every time someone's about to die, and you kind of see it.
Yeah.
And then, like in the bathroom scene later, like they do this thing where the water retreats, and it's like something's actually doing this.
Mm-hmm.
The later sequels, I feel like, don't do that.
Yeah, they kind of forgot about that.
To me, that looks more. It looks more realistic.
Yeah, like it's like it looks like an accident.
It looks like a tragic accident. Whereas this one, it's like there's like a murderer, but he's retrieving all the evidence.
Yeah.
And that, to me, I don't really fucks with that.
So okay, so the idea for this was that they wanted to make a movie where the killer is invisible, where the killer's deaf. You You can't fight death. You can't do anything. So they want it to be like a slasher movie where like the presence is there, but obviously they don't know about it.
Yeah.
There's like a famous saying, I can't remember who said it, but it's like someone said pretty much like in film, in a dinner scene, the way that you can have a normal dinner scene, but pretty much putting a bomb underneath the table and showing the audience but not the characters creates a lot of tension, because we know that bomb is going to blow up eventually, but the characters don't. So this movie does that very well, where it's like we know what's happening, like that water scene with with the friend, I forgot his fucking, with Todd.
It's with Todd.
And I see it, we see that shit's happening. We don't know exactly how it's gonna end up, but then it happens in another way where it's like it kind of twists. There's a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of tension. And I remember watching this when I was younger, being like, shit, like what's gonna happen with these people? And I think this movie does it very well, because I don't think the movie's supposed to be super realistic.
No, I get it. I get
it's
that.
supernatural in nature.
It's just that once you do 4 other movies and forget about that specific detail,
then it's like
it loses itself, I feel, in this one. Also, I felt like if maybe they would have kept going with this, it probably would have gotten sillier.
Yeah.
With it's deaf, and maybe they would have started doing an actual silhouette of a person.
Yeah.
So
because if it's like, okay, this is something that I don't know why, but it's all over Twitter that I've been annoyed with, is that people want to put too much realism on horror. Because in this movie, I'm like, okay, why couldn't they just deaf be like, you got a heart attack, you died?
Yeah,
you fell down the stairs, you died. Like, it's like stupid shit like that.
It wants to like murder you.
Yeah, it's like it wants to make sure that you to leave a message.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of have to just suspend your disbelief, but at the same time, it's like, well, then they forgot about that whole aspect later into the movies. I think the 5th one does it very well, because I think the 5th one, there's an acupuncture scene where it's like you think it's gonna die and shit is moving, and you're like, wait, it's gonna end up like this, ends up like that, but it's like a completely like something that didn't even show. Yeah. It's like ends up killing the person, and I think it like surprises you, because you're like, wait, this is the thing that killed them.
Yes, it's like it's like
a punchline. It's like a punchline at the end.
Well, with like the bathroom scene, you're thinking, he might get electrocuted, or he might slip.
It's like a lot of red herrings.
Cut himself. Yeah.
Yep.
But then he ends up killing himself some other way.
Exactly.
Or Death ends up killing him some other way. One thing I do like about the 3rd one is with pictures. She's taking pictures all in the beginning. It's the roller coaster.
Yes.
And then she notices later on, as she's trying to figure out what's happening, she notices that the pictures give her a sign of how that person. I did like that. But that's all that really bothers me about this movie. It's that whole little wave thing, and then it's like, Okay.
It's like a visual representation, so we know.
Yeah,
pretty much. And so the audience knows what's happening, which it's not needed, to be honest, but I think that was like back in the day, it was like, let's just make sure that the audience is aware that, hey, this is happening, so how can we do it in a subtle way? Not so subtle, to be honest, but did you know that this movie was supposed to be an X-Files episode?
Yes, I saw that.
That shit is crazy.
Well, the director has worked on X-Files, so that makes sense.
And it was they were like, nah, we're not going to do that shit. But then they ended up picking it up and making a movie, which is actually kind of dope.
Yeah, I mean, and the original title was actually supposed to be Flight 180. They changed it to Final Destination because they didn't want to get confused with some other movie.
Because it was like a popular movie, Flight 180.
It's based on a tragic actual airplane accident. Which is very sad. It's
super sad. They do allude to the Flight 180 because obviously that's the actual flight ride number. So it's on the name tag. I think on the tag it also says Final Destination.
Yeah, on his tag when they put it on.
Yeah. I think he's reading a book about like a plane tragedy at one point.
And then the news stories that we see on the TV for them, it's actual news stories.
It's the actual flight. Yeah, it's the actual flight. We're just kind of fucked, to be honest.
I was like, who let y'all?
Yeah, that's kind of disrespectful. That's so rude. I mean, but it's like a memorial, I guess, movie. But then it's like this movie's not like a documentary about it. They're making an entertaining movie about it. So it's like, it's kind of rude.
A little bit. I'm surprised they didn't get canceled.
But it's a good movie. This movie, there's some things that haven't aged very well in this movie, I feel.
Like the MJ joke?
The MJ joke. Todd's, like how, like, they're like... So, okay, there's suicide, like, in a way. They do talk about it, but, like, they completely are going... He killed himself because you made him grieve too much, and David Sawa's explanation was, no, he didn't. He made plans, so why would he kill himself? It's like, dude, I feel like it gave me very just don't be sad vibes.
Yeah,
he wasn't sad, so he didn't do it.
I mean, it's from the 2000s. There's the whole no homo joke before no homo was a thing. It's like, hey, bro, don't take this the wrong way.
But I miss you.
And I was like,
what?
Just say it.
Hey, don't take this the wrong way. Just kisses him in the lips. Like it's really, I mean, but it's 2000s, obviously.
Yeah, that you can see what year this movie was made.
I mean, also,
and even the clothes are all super baggy on the boys.
I was
like, Devin Sawa, I'm like, you're like a twig underneath those clothes.
Yep. But also it didn't age well because literally the next year we had 9/11. And I feel like that probably put a damper into that movie.
I didn't want to mention that.
I mean, it is something to mention. The movie starts with an airplane accident.
I know, and I feel like if that movie would have not been made or even premiered because of that. Because a lot of movies did get changed after that. Like and even Lilo and Stitch had a lot of change. I know.
Bitch, did you just say Lilo and Stitch?
I did say Lilo and Stitch because Lilo and Stitch had a scene with the airplane going through a city, and they completely changed it, and it's going instead through like the woods of the island.
Really?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Because of 9/11.
That's interesting. I didn't know. It's just funny because we're like talking about a horror movie and you're like Lilo and Stitch.
Because that event affected other stuff too.
Yeah,
like, it affected movies.
It's just kind of weird, like the coincidence about it, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's kind of it's weird.
And I think maybe honestly, I feel like maybe that's what gives it that notoriety. Because it's like 9/11 happened and people are like, holy shit, like they connect this movie immediately to that.
Yes. I was reading something. I don't know if it was the composer for this movie. I might be wrong. He actually ended up passing away from an airplane crash.
Yes. I'm pretty sure it was.
Which I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's kind of it's weird, but it's like they do mention in this movie. It's like we always try to find signs and like connect things in a way. It's like I remember before I had my flight to Florida, I remember seeing like every time I would turn on the channel, it was like top 10 airplane crashes, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like it was like I could always see it, but I feel like it was like just subconscious. Like I would just notice those things more than anything else. So. This movie does it very well, and it scares me. And
yeah, like I said earlier, like I tend to skip these, not because I hate them, because I try to just it's a little too realistic for me, and I do not need that right now. Let's go watch something that doesn't make sense, and have a good day.
Yeah. No, I get it. I totally get it.
But yeah, I might still watch the sequels because I kind of got in the mood to watch them now. But let's jump into this role for the movie.
Let's do it.
So we open on these credits that are super imagery.
Very artistic.
3 minutes too long.
Yeah, it was almost over. Literally at the very last frame, and he's fast forwarding it, and I'm like, "Come on!"
I got annoyed. I was like, "Okay, are we done now?" I get it, y'all. But it was a lot of imagery with the fan. Devin Sawa has a fan in the room that they keep alluding to. He has a toy airplane. There's a book that keeps turning pages, and I saw that one of the pages said "evil." Like real big on it. And
it's like satanic. It's like a Bible, and it's like satanic imagery and stuff. Also, the character's name is not Devin Sawa. I know you want to talk about him, baby, but it's Alex.
But if I say Devin Sawa, y'all know who I'm talking about is Alex.
He just wants to talk about him.
Daddy Sawa. But we meet Alex and his parents. They're letting him know that Todd's parents are going to pick him up tomorrow around 3:30. They're setting up his suitcase. His mom goes to rip the ticket, and he says, "Don't do it because that's bad luck." And she's like, "Don't worry about it." Because the dad is like, "Oh, I do it all the time and I'm still alive." So she ends up ripping it. As he's going to bed.
Oh yeah, I love that. There's a lot of puns also because they're like, what is it? It's like, oh, a couple teenagers going to France. Live your life while it's ahead. It's like very like on the nose. Like, what's it? Your whole life is ahead of you, buddy. Yep. Enjoy it. And it's like,
and Devin Sawa's on his feet since the beginning of the movie. It's like he has like this feeling that something bad is gonna happen. Yeah, from the beginning, since the minute we meet him.
And I do like that because it's like we don't know what's happening.
No, we
like,
don't.
If you've seen this movie from the without knowing anything about it, you're like, what the fuck's happening? So I think it does a good job with keeping that mystery throughout it.
Which we cut to him sleeping, and then you see that the wind is going through his room, and then he kind of wakes up, turns around, and we see that his clock says 1 a.m., but it then turns into 1:80.
And I love this transition because it transitions like almost into the clock, like it zooms in on the 180, and then it transitions to the airport number that says flight 180.
Yep.
And it zooms out, and I think that's really fucking cool.
Yeah. So this is where all the students are arriving at the airport. We get basically the main 7 that we're gonna follow. And then Devin Sawa is getting this scene. He's getting his ticket, his boarding his boarding pass, but he's setting up his suitcase. You know how they weigh them and stuff at the airport, and the things behind him, the terminal times keep changing like really fast, like canceling, departing. And
it just feels weird. And that's the thing. This movie just feels strange. Like it's like throughout it, you just feel like nothing. It doesn't feel natural. Like for me, and nothing feels natural. Everything seems gloomy. Supposedly, there was like a set thing where it's like the movie is supposed to be very colorful before the flight, and then after it starts, everything's very the colors are toned down. They're very grayish almost, and I do like that because it just makes you feel uncomfortable just watching because it feels odd. Like nothing feels like it's going normal.
Yeah,
which is not. I mean, obviously.
Nothing good's about to happen. But and then they put the ticket thing on his suitcase, and it says final destination flight 180.
And she makes a note that the flight departures at 9:25, and she goes, "Oh, it goes in your birthday.
It's on your birthday."
He's like, "What?" And he's like, "September 25th, 9:25." And he's immediately like tries to make a connection with that
because there's too many coincidences happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Too many coincidences, and then this is when he looks back one more time, and it says terminal, and then the terminal. I guess since it's the manual ones, the metal breaks, so it looks like terminal's been cut. Which I kind of like. That's like, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
You're done.
Then we get some funny moments with the students here. We have Todd coming over to Alex. Says like, "Hey, so these 2 girls are like, oh, dude, the flight's gonna be 7 hours, and you do not want to take a shit and in the middle of this flight." And then those girls walk in because that's when they smell that. That's all they're gonna see when they see you. So we need to go take a shit now.
It's like these high school kids like overthinking everything.
Yeah.
But I'm also the same guy that can't say hi, and I'm like, oh, she didn't like how I said hi. Like I'm the same way, so I get it.
I'm like, you're fine, Jonathan. It's fine.
But I do like that they cuts to them taking a shit.
Yes. They do that, and then Clear,
that's such a weird
she's reading
name.
a book, and then Devin Sawa picks it up for her.
My God, I love her.
Yes, you do. and when she opens the book, it's a car crash. The first thing she sees, and then you can kind of see that she's also feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
And then Carter and Terry are fuck buddies.
They're like literally fucking in the middle of the terminal, like what is that called?
The terminal.
Is it terminal?
Yeah,
whatever. In front of everybody.
Yeah.
You would think the teachers would be like, hey,
no, the teacher just keeps walking, and we have Billy who's just walking around doing his own thing.
Billy's just so
he's Stifler.
He's just there.
He's still Stifler.
Remember him from American Pie?
Yeah, that's him.
And he leaves to use the bathroom.
Yeah. So the boys are using the bathroom, and there's this song on, and then Alex recognizes that the person that was singing the song died in an airplane crash.
Oh yeah,
so that makes him feel even more weird.
Yeah,
it's like all these signs just hitting you, and it's like,
and there's music throughout this movie that like it like kind of foreshadows the death of different characters.
Yes. So now they're boarding the plane, and Alex seems super nervous, but then Todd's brother, who I thought was very handsome, Todd's brother's like, hey, there's a baby here and a disabled man. God is not fucked up to crash this plane. And I was like, ooh.
But the thing is that he sees then the paint on the flight is all chipped and all fucked up.
Yep.
He looks down and the workers, there's a little cart and the number on the cart says 666.
Which would not be a thing.
No. But let's just, whatever.
But it's a movie. It's a horror movie.
And, but the thing is like that was things that I would see. I remember going to a terminal and looking down being like, oh shit.
And
like
it was super high up.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And then like if I saw a little bit of fucked up on the door, I would get so scared.
I one time got on an airplane. I won't say what flight it was I won't say what airline it was.
Why? You're afraid that it won't sponsor the podcast?
I don't know. But it was super like
Spirit
old in there, and I was very nervous.
It
looked very old fashioned in that airplane.
That
and
bitch
I was
Spirit Airlines.
I need to go back to JetBlue. Mom, please.
Yeah. Spirit be like very, very little in the bottom, be like, you will die if you write this. But it's $10. Round trip, $10.
And if you get on that other airline, you might have to fight somebody. So yeah, Alex is on the plane. He's very nervous. Everyone's boarding. And then the girls ask to switch so he can sit next to Todd, and the two girls that they have a crush on can sit together. And he sits next to Todd, and this is when he tries the food tray, and the little clip comes off. So he's trying to call for help because he sees that on the signs it says that should be up when the airplane's taking off, which is an actual thing.
Yeah. And it's like immediately he's just like hitting it, and it just keeps falling down, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
There's too much happening. Then they take off, and then the airplane's very shaky. It's very shaky, and you're like, "Oh shit, what's about to happen?"
I fucking hate turbulence too. My God, it gets me so nervous.
Yes, that's why I usually try to fall asleep. Or if they have a very good movie on, I just keep myself on that movie.
Bro,
there was one time I watched. Was it The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit? It was one of those long ass movies.
How long ago was it? Because The Hobbit is kind of recent.
It was about 5+ years ago.
Could be
it was a Hobbit. There was a dragon at the end.
Okay, Hobbit.
Okay, so I was watching that, and I was very entertained. Not that I will go back and watch the whole series. I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Like,
I was very confused,
dragon.
But it was I didn't even finish the movie. It was so long that the flight ended.
That's the worst.
The movie was longer than the flight. I hate when the movie's shorter than the flight. Because then the movie ends, and I'm like, fuck, I got like another hour.
That's like a disgrace. Like they should plan the movies with the flight. Like if there's 30 minutes, you can't. You only have shows.
Yeah, but I've seen some good movies on flights, and then some other ones that I'm like, oh my God.
I saw Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot, I discovered it on a flight, and I remember watching it and being like, wow, this is so entertaining. And I was watching it, and like in the second episode, there's a scene where like this guy goes to like a gay bar, and they're like talking, and he's kind of flirting. And it cuts to like this hardcore sex scene. And I got so nervous because the guy next to me was watching from my TV because his TV wasn't working. And I literally looked at him and he went,
were y'all sharing headphones?
No, it was just me. But it was so loud. And it was no, you think they weren't showing anything. It was like you saw the guy bent over and the other guy just pounding.
Wow,
and,
that's hot.
And I got so nervous. And he literally looked away. He went like this. And I'm like, oh my God.
You made him a little nervous.
I did. I was like, sir, I don't know what I was watching, but that seems like you're homophobic, first of all.
I mean,
so
I wouldn't be surprised.
I just got nervous because I was not expecting that.
Were you a minor?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Or
he might have been like, oh, this kid's straight. Let me not give him any ideas. But so there's turbulence, but then it kind of chills out, and you're like, okay, this is
good.
fine. Everything's good. There's a thunderstorm happening while this is happening, and all of a sudden the airplane starts going into turbulence. Everything goes fucking bananas.
That bitch started doing.
Yup. Everything starts exploding. People start flying off the plane. It just cray. And then you see a blood splatter, and right after that big ass blood splatter, just the fire, and then you see Devin Sawa burning up. Alex,
fucking dead. She fucking dead.
Everybody fucking dead. And then he wakes up.
Yep, and he is sweaty.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the effect with him burning. That shit looks cool as fuck, and for the time was like pretty dope because it looks real.
I will say about damn time because
this movie has incredible effects.
Yes,
I think this movie aged really well with its effects because at no point was I like, this looks really fake.
Yeah,
I think the fakest thing was the one leaf
shadow?
that fell.
Oh, okay.
And it was huge.
Okay.
That's the only thing that I was kind of like, it's kind of fake.
Okay, I can see that. And then it like falls on the floor and it's like a relief.
Yeah, I was like, okay. But everything else, like the actual death scenes, I feel like they were so good.
No, they were good.
There's one that actually was, even now I was like, wow, that was really good. But we'll get there when we get there.
Okay. So yeah, he wakes up. This is when he like just freaks out, gets up, goes next to Todd and checks if the little clip work like comes off, and it did.
Yeah,
so
because he wakes up to the girls.
Yeah, it's like
it's like, wait, what the fuck's happening?
Mm-hmm.
And then he looks over at Todd, and Todd is like, no, don't say no, or say no. So that's immediately like, oh shit, this is happening. Like this is weird. Yeah.
So he starts freaking out. He wants to get off the plane. He said the plane is gonna blow. Which, if you say that, you're going to jail.
Yeah, I feel like
nowadays you go to jail.
Yeah, I guess that's true. This was pre 9/11, so immediately nobody's
freaking out like that. Yeah.
Freaked out.
But then,
okay,
Kurt Smith, that is fucked though. But Carter's character, why is he so angry?
He did not have to react. He's mad at him.
He's an alpha mate. Like I'm like, sir, you need to relax. Because first of all, I did not know y'all had this kind of beef.
Yeah.
Like their beef is on site because he said, oh, you freaking out? I don't like you. I'm going to fight you. I'm like, you could have just let that boy get off the plane and mind your own business, but you just want to fight whoever fucking
they started fighting. Like legit fist fighting. And then he's mad. He's like,
ooh, Devin Sawa and Kurt fighting.
But okay, you got like
over me,
Slim Shady David Sawa. If it was now David Sawa, then I've been like, all right, let's go. But it was Slim Shady Stan. But immediately he starts, okay, what's his name? Carter starts fighting him, and then he's like, fuck you, now I got kicked out of the plane. I'm like, that was your decision.
Oh my, yeah, okay. So, it's like 2 minutes from now, but they get them all off the plane. So Todd gets off, Carter gets off, his girlfriend Terry gets off, Miss Luton gets off.
And the only reason why Billy gets kicked off is because he literally got there late. And then they're like, just push everybody out. And he, unfortunately, was
still
part
trying
of
to sit down. And then Clear gets off because
she gets nervous.
She got nervous. And the only reason Todd gets off is because his brother's like, hey, go check on Alex and make sure he's okay.
Which is like kind of like, yo, I would have been like, your friend's fucking crazy.
I would have been like, let's both go. Your daddy gave you the money. I don't got money.
That's true.
But so they're still kind of arguing, fighting. And then Carter and Terry are looking at the airplane, and Terry has the nerve to say, God damn, Alex fucked this up for us. And I'm like, hey, bitch, what?
He fucked it up for himself.
You
fucked it up for yourself.
Your boyfriend fucked it up. Don't be blinded by the dick right now, because he's the one that got up and decided to punch the boy. Like,
it's true. Like,
Daddy, chill.
Yeah, your man needs to chill out.
But no, let's blame it all on fucking Alex. Like, it was on him. You guys you should have just minded your own business. That's it.
It would have just been Alex, but we needed people to we needed deaths.
We needed
to keep happening throughout this movie.
Exactly.
So we needed Carter to be the alpha male here and start fighting everybody that just pissed him off. He was trigger happy.
He really was, and he's like this throughout the entire movie.
I was like, damn, How are you in bed? Are you really? You must be very rough. Very fucking rough, sir.
You like that?
Yup.
Slut. I know you do.
No, I'm not.
He starts crying.
Sometimes. So, as they're sitting down, and then Alex says something, triggers Carter again. They start fighting,
and Alex,
Billy's the one looking out the window.
Yeah,
of the plane.
and he's like, "There they go." But then Alex says, "I wish you were on that plane."
Yup.
And he's like, "Bitch, what the fuck?"
And then you just see the plane explode, and like this explosion costs us like what are those called?
A sonic wave.
Okay, a sonic wave. I was gonna say sonic boom, but I didn't want to say it wrong.
Or shock wave. So.
A shock wave, and the windows exploded. They see the plane blow, and it's like, oh shit, he was right. He's a witch. They think he's a witch.
Everybody. I do like that nobody reacts to the accident. It's more like, damn, he was right.
Yep.
But I would have been like freaking out, like, oh,
like they're scared of him, and I'm over here like, oh, he saved my life. I'm good.
Yeah, nobody's grateful. Like nobody's like, damn, dude. Like I guess you know,
okay,
they had their friends that died.
That, and I can also see it as like, did he do something to the airplane?
That's
that we didn't know
and
about?
That's the theme.
And
it's
that
like
was excuse to get off the airplane.
And I do like that theme that it's like, oh, you're suspicious, like you're causing this shit. And they don't explicitly say it, but it's very implied.
Yeah. So they're sitting in this room, and then they're asking him. Miss Luna is asking him if there's any survivors, like he knows anything, and then Clear's like, y'all, like he's not a witch. Y'all need to chill out.
Yeah, like he's just he's Slim Shady. Please stand up.
Yep. Yeah. So then some people come in. They're like, hey, your families have been called. They're on their way. And some agents come in. I forgot one agent's name, but the other agent is Shrek.
Somebody. That's every time that he kept coming into screen, I kept thinking Smash Mouth.
I was like, what year did Shrek come out, and why this man's name is Shrek?
And it's not spelled the same for copyright reasons.
It's not, but it's like Shrek, really? Agent Wayne, who is played by Daniel Roebuck, who is going to be in the Monsters movie, Rob Zombie's.
Oh.
The Monsters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who is he playing?
This guy.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
I don't either, but... He's in the new Monsters movie. I know
that's
that.
Pretty cool.
But because he's not credited for it yet. But I know he's in it. But
Agent Shrek, the whole time, every time I walked in, I'm just thinking somebody once told me.
I was like, who named this man Shrek? Why? That's disrespectful.
A lot of these names, they have like a meaning. Like
Okay, Shrek was a year later.
They based them.
Someone was like, you know that one agent in Final Destination? I kind of like that for an animated film. Can we use that?
But he's an ogre.
And we got to change up the name so it's not copywritten.
So let's take out the C.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Shrek.
But
he looked a little bit like Shrek, though.
He did a little bit. A little bit. I do like that, or the last names for the characters are like references to other filmmakers and stuff. So... it's fine. Like, it's like kind of cool, but like Billy Hitchcock, it's like, can you be more obvious?
Or is he like also named after Billy Loomis?
No, Hitchcock, bitch.
Billy Loomis Hitchcock.
And it's like Alex Browning is supposed to be like another reference to someone, so it's like it's kind of clever, but like it's fucking whatever. It just feels weird.
It's just also that they say their last names like once or twice.
Yeah,
it's not like they're like military men and they keep calling each other by their last names the whole movie.
Yeah, like the teacher goes, Billy Hitchcock, and it's like obviously they put that in there so you can be like,
they should have.
I know that director.
They should have did first names, but then also some first names are so common that it wouldn't like, have mattered.
It would have been a stretch to connect those. I get it. Yeah,
but then they get questioned by the police, the agents. Alex is pretty much like, I saw it happening. I don't know what else to tell you. Clear's like, I got off the plane because
Billy goes to Alex.
Because of Alex, and everyone else is just like doesn't fucking know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, because they were like, "Hey, why did you get off the plane?" So Alex was like, "Because I saw fucking people die." She said, "Because Alex," and the teacher says, "I told the professor to stay, but he wanted me to stay." So I ended up being like, "Okay, well, you're the one that knows French." Because they're going to France, so you take care of the rest, the kids. And they were going to stay for another flight like later in the day. So.
Yes. So again, I guess it looks bad on them because it's only 7 of them that got off.
Yeah,
so it looks
exactly.
like maybe they all planned this and they're all in this together.
7. It's like lucky 7.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, interesting.
But they had no luck.
Nope.
So then their parents come in. Everyone's parents comes except for Clear. She doesn't have anyone come pick her up, which is kind of saying that she's kind of like
She's
a loner.
orphan.
Mm-hmm.
Is she an orphan? I don't fucking know.
She's not orphaned. Her later on we get that her dad passed.
But the mom,
But
we
the
don't know.
mom, I guess, went on this like loop when I guess she married someone else, and it's not a guy that she's Clear's a fan of. So it's kind of like
It's
her and her
like,
mom don't
I
have a
don't
relationship.
know.
She's like the only one that we don't see the parents for.
I will say the editing to this movie is a little kind of fucked because there's some things that happen that I'm sure there were scene cuts because
Like the fact that Clear and Devin Sawa all of a sudden were boyfriend and girlfriend.
they never established.
Yeah.
It was so weird that they called each other baby, and I was like, what? What happened?
But I get it because 20 years later she'll be calling him daddy.
Daddy, chill.
I'm sorry.
Combo right there.
So, this is when they get home.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing footage now from the news of the airplane crash. Alex kind of gets up and then he sees that lightning strikes right in front of his house, which
And
is
it's like
kind of
that.
like
Death is mad. It is angry.
that you cheated, boo.
And it's like, bitch, you're not getting away. I'm gonna say that one more time. You're not getting away.
And then Alex is like,
I fucked that bitch up.
Throughout the whole movie, he's like, "Come on, bitch, what's up?"
Hey, bitch, what's up, bitch? Suck my dick, bitch.
all right. So 39 days later, 39
grammar.
days later pass, and they're having a memorial service for the 39 students and teacher. So 38 students and teacher that have passed. They've made this real big statue of an eagle for them.
Which the silhouette is not very clear.
I feel like it was done on purpose.
Yeah, because it's like there's a drape over
Mhm.
it, and I immediately was like, I don't remember the statue, and I thought it was a plane.
which I was like, oh,
And I was like, Carlos, what if it was a brain that's like halfway blown up?
oh god.
Like it's super fucked up. It's like, like it's an eagle though.
But it's an eagle because now they get
They're
flew.
free.
They're free. Yeah. Carter still pissed.
I mean, I get it. His friends died.
I get that, but I'm like, dude, like.
He's like starts fighting at the
Yeah.
fucking funeral.
But he pretty much tells Alex like, oh, I control my life now. I'm gonna live forever, and nothing's gonna really stop me.
Yeah, because he's like, you didn't save me. I saved myself pretty much. That's
Yes.
what he's saying.
Miss Luton is super rude to Alex and says, "Get away from me, you scare me." And I was
Which I get
like,
it.
whoa.
I get it. I mean, it would freak me out if I'm like, you're the weird one. Like, even though, yes, he saved your life, I feel like some people would react like her, where it's like, you're freaky. You need to get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Because then you see how crazy she gets after this. Because she starts like, she's kind of
Yeah,
bonkers.
I was not a fan of her. I don't know what it is about
she doesn't
her.
have a character.
I just didn't.
She was there when it mattered, so we knew that she survived, and then she's gone until her
'cause
unfortunate
after
events.
this, she only shows up for like another minute, and then after that, it's her scene, and I'm just like,
That's it.
you just sound annoying. You're
Yeah,
just annoying to
yeah.
me. But this is when Todd, because Alex and Todd, I guess the parents are so like hurt by the fact that Todd's brother passed, so they didn't want them to be like friends anymore.
Well, it's also because it looks bad on Alex. So
Yeah.
it's like, you need to get away from him because he's sus.
Yeah. So this is when Alex tells Todd, "Hey, don't take this the wrong way, dude, but I miss you."
And he's like, I miss you too. And he's like, can you, not the wrong way, right? And he's like, totally
I
not.
was like, "Oh God, you can tell."
I
where
literally
this
was like,
from.
is that a homo, like a no homo joke?
That
And
was
it
because
was, right?
The thing is that no homo didn't become a thing till later on.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
I'm pretty sure that's what they would have said if it was.
That we can't we can't say homo on the movies because back in the day it was not accepted.
But I'm like, bro, just say y'all miss each other. I tell people I miss them. I tell boys I miss them all the time. Miss you, Poppy.
We just kissed at the same time. We did. You just slap his butt.
Yeah. I would have like, hey,
What's up, Daddy Sawa?
Hey, Devin. So, and then Clear comes up to him and kind of says thank you to him for saving her life. She gives him a rose. This guy takes a picture of them and she like runs away. Like she's like, paparazzi, no.
Oh no.
Oh God.
She's famous. Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and then we have Todd giving a speech about life. And this is when we cut to the night and he's going into the bathroom, and this is where we get his death scene pretty much. And as this is happening, we're cutting back and forth between him and Alex.
Which we should just say that the Alex scene, because it's just simple, because he's just doing a lot of research on airplane crashes.
Yeah, so we can see that he went through a rabbit hole. There's books, VHSs, which I thought was really cool, and
he has his computer that's still loading a page because that shit was slow as fuck.
Yep.
And it's all about just we don't know what exactly. It's just he's studying like maybe why it caused, what could have caused it.
Because I think his whole thing is that he wants to know what caused this airplane to crash.
Yeah, because it was a mystery. They still didn't know why the airplane crashed.
They say it later and then he figures it out.
And he pretty much how did it even happen? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
So he got bored.
Yeah.
And he's assuming. He got bored. And he's like, I'm just gonna jack off real quick. So
he starts reading porn.
No, for real. Yeah, he takes out a porn magazine, and then an owl shows up at the window, which was really random. But I looked up, and owl also has the meaning of supernatural.
Oh.
Yeah, owls can mean
see
supernatural.
That. With Harry Potter too, it's like I get it.
So then he throws the magazine at the window to scare the owl away, and he has his fan right there, and his fan is like an industrial metal fan, so it cuts a page from the magazine and lands on his leg a piece. He thinks of it as weird. He looks at it and it just says TOD, Todd,
for today, because
it had said today before, but this Todd's name is spelled TOD, not your natural way or most common way, which is the 2 Ds, because TOD in German means deaf.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting. I'm like, that's a clever detail that they added. Also, I'm pretty sure the piece was also the shape of a T.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure, unless it's just me being Alex right now and seeing signs everywhere.
Oh, maybe.
But I'm pretty sure it was the shape of T.
Okay, because I thought to me, the little piece. Yeah, it's kind of like a triangle, which kind of a T can be a triangle, I guess, if you put lines on it.
We'll see it later after, and then I'll be like, oh yeah,
whatever.
It doesn't matter.
This is when he's like, oh shit, Todd is next. I'm getting a bad feeling for him. So as we're now, Todd over here is in the bathroom. And he's trying to shave. I don't know what he's trying to shave.
But I get it. As a kid, I would be like, oh, I'm going to shave a little bit. And just like, I didn't have anything. I didn't have shit. Yeah. And I just would do it. But he doesn't. He was like really rough. Like he grabs like one of the little razors. It's like
the one razor ones.
Yeah. And he goes really high up, like really fast. And then he cuts himself a little bit.
Yeah.
But nothing happens. It's just like a little like cut.
Before he took a shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's made the toilet water start coming out, but he doesn't notice it. Then he cuts himself, and the water's coming straight at him. And as you see the black silhouette kind of behind him, which is supposed to mean that death is there.
Yeah.
So you don't know how he's gonna die, but you know something bad's about to happen to him.
But you see there's a little radio.
Yep.
And then he goes to plug it, but the water's coming straight for him, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yep.
But then he goes, and it doesn't work, I guess.
No, he plugs it in. I guess he doesn't like the song that's playing, so he unplugs it, and you see the spark, and then he just smiles and walks away, and the water just follows him. Which I feel like this is what bothers me about this movie.
That is so unrealistic. Where
yes,
it's like,
because the sequels don't really do this.
Yeah.
Whereas it looks more like a tragic accident, and this one's like, nah, I'm really coming for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I like about it. It's like where it's like, I do love that it doesn't let you think it's gonna lead this way, and then it doesn't.
Yeah,
because it creates tension, even though it doesn't look realistic to the point where it's like it literally the water does a 4-point turn for his ass.
Which I was like, if the sequels would have just kept this and not, because I feel like eventually it would have probably looked real silly.
Yeah, and I get it, and I get how this looks silly. I get it.
So he walks, and then in his shower, he has like a wire rod that his mom, I guess, hangs her underwear to dry. So he removes it, and then he slips. The water reaches him. He slips on it, and then he starts choking.
And like all the shampoos fall down.
Yes.
So then he kept slipping. He can't get stand up in the the bathtub because he's slipping with the shower, like the conditioner and shampoo and stuff. So then he's trying to grab at the fucking thing, but he just can't get a hold of himself.
And I was like, damn, that shit's on the wall real fucking strong, because my fat ass would have broke that shit.
That is so true. Just put all your weight down.
Yeah, I was like, but it eventually kills him, and then his dad doesn't hear anything because his dad is like passed out drunk, I guess.
He's just completely asleep. But he's probably been drinking because of the son of his death.
You also see the cup, empty cup beside him.
Oh, that's true. But I do like the death scene because there's an effect where like he's getting choked out and his eyes just immediately get bloodshot, and it's such a good effect because it's visceral. Like my whole body was like, oh, like shit.
I can feel what pain he's going through.
Yeah, exactly. And then like you see his toes curl. The only thing that this is gonna be very dark, but I was like, he would have had a boner because that's like a very common thing. Like it happens. It's very common for people that asphyxiate.
Yes.
To have like, and they end up having an erection.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I was like, that would have been crazy that if they would have added that.
But that would have been like the scary movie version of this movie.
I wonder if they did it. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Future episode?
Maybe. Wink, wink. Anyway, so Alex running to Todd's house, he sees that they're cornered and the police and everyone's there. So
all the Agent Shrek is there, and then he looked over and he said, "Somebody."
So Claire's also there for some reason, and she tells Alex just go home. His dad comes over to him, and that's when they have that one conversation about suicide, and then everyone kind of just leaves. And then the next day he goes to see Claire because he was like, "Hey, why were you there?"
And she doesn't give him an answer.
Nah, she doesn't give him a straight answer.
She leaves me even more confused because she says, "I know cops don't show up to a suicide, or FBI agents don't show up to a suicide."
I think her okay. So I think this is what she was. I think this was what she was trying to say. It's what I said earlier. How it's kind of suspicious that only 7 of us got off this plane, and an accident happened, and now we're dying one by one.
Yeah,
kind of like of guilt. Like maybe that's what the agents are thinking.
Yeah.
But then she kind of tells him like, "Hey, I was there because you saw something, but I felt something, which is why I got off, because I felt that you saw something."
And Davis always, "Bitch, what?"
Because it's pretty much saying that she didn't have the vision, but she was also feeling a little bit like weird about the whole thing.
Yeah, but then she says, "Well, they've been showing up to his place for the past week," and I'm like, "Bitch, why are you stalking him?" That's what confused me. I'm like, why are you stalking him?
She might have been the murderer.
Imagine she's the one that's setting everything up.
Oh my god! Imagine if this movie would have just took that twist. Would you think it would be better or worse?
Definitely worse. It would be terrible.
But
the 6th movie is like they show flashback scenes and it's her in the background with like the water turning around. It's her with a leaf blower,
or she's like the Invisible Woman.
Oh shit! It goes so supernatural that it's completely fucks up the entire franchise. She
has like those Harry Potter cloaks, and she just has it on, and
she goes, "Oh, I killed him finally!"
Oh god! So they decide to go see Todd's body to see what happened to him and how he died. So they decide to sneak into the morgue.
Oh Jesus!
Which they sneak into the morgue, and she's like, "Oh, I like doing this." And Alex is like, "What, sneaking into morgue?" She's like, "No, the adrenaline of not getting caught."
And he's like, "Okay."
He's like, "Oh, she's adventurous.
She's a bad girl."
But
we found out that she's an artist. Says she makes her own industrial sculptures.
Yeah, like out of metal and stuff, which is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. That's pretty badass.
I have a dinosaur made out of like metal pieces,
that's right.
Which is like really cool.
And she shows him like a piece where it's like a face, like a profile face.
So she says it's supposed to be him.
Yeah.
Which I find funny because then he kind of has his head turned in this scene, and you can see that it's the same shape of his head.
Yeah. I was like, that's pretty interesting, but it's like it has a bunch of missing pieces on his head, and he goes, "Oh, my bad," and she's like, "No, it's just this line was very strange to me because she goes, it's because ever since that day I had an attraction to you, and I've never felt that before. We've never talked in 4 years since high school." And I was like, so what? Did you just got horny like after that? So
I might say that they might have slept together here, because they don't sneak into that morgue till nighttime, and it's full on daytime right now.
They were planning it maybe the whole time, but it's true because she like literally what I got from it was, I don't know why, but you got really hot when you said this plane's about to blow up. Like that's exactly what I got from it. I'm like, I do not get it, and I tried. I was like, I don't understand what. I mean, maybe she means like an attraction, like
I think she meant it as like
she's
I
curious.
think I'm feeling what you are feeling.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
just don't. I just like you, but you tend to see it and I don't, because towards the end of the movie she starts seeing things.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh my god, she has like the same powers.
yeah, exactly. So I guess they were both like connected somehow.
So we do get a bad joke here because they walk
Jesus.
into the morgue and they see Todd's body, and she goes, "Oh my god, he looks like Michael Jackson." And I was like,
roasted.
"Oh girl."
He does look like him even
like,
more.
They're like, "Oh, who does the makeup on him? He looks like Michael
Jesus."
Jackson." And then he twitches, his body twitches, and I was like, "Oh Lord." And Tony Todd has this little cameo here.
Tony Todd, baby.
And
I love me some Tony Todd.
You know him, he has to like give his like little speech, and but very sexy.
Very sexy and poetic.
He basically tells them that Death is a design and that they basically cheated it, and now Death is basically angry and is gonna come back to bite them one by one.
Okay, quick question.
Yeah.
What do you think his meaning, like this character, means?
So to me, because he shows up in the sequels a lot.
Yeah, he's always in
and
every
I feel
movie.
I feel like I've seen people before like saying that he is Death himself.
Yeah, where it's like he's the Grim Reaper.
That he's the Grim Reaper. Yeah.
I think he's a survivor.
Oh.
Because why does he
die in the sequel?
No.
Is he the one in the barbecue?
No.
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 Okay.
He literally just shows up, and he's like talks about death.
But he does the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he just does the same exact thing that he does. It's just that he's just like a reoccurring character. And I think my gut feeling is that he's supposed to be like the survivor that knows everything about death, and he's learned how to escape it.
Oh my god, we should have his movie.
We should have him on the podcast.
Tony Todd.
Tony Todd, what's up? I
Yeah,
seen your
but-
Spotify list on Twitter.
But yeah, I've always seen him as he's actually deaf himself.
Yeah.
And he's kind of there, but only they see him, no one else sees him, kind of thing.
That'd be interesting.
Which is very interesting.
And the people that hire him, apparently. That would be actually kind of cool. Where it's like they don't know, like it's only them that see it. But I'm pretty sure he interacts with other people in the later one.
Maybe.
I think so.
But yeah, he pretty much tells Alex like, "Hey, you walking off that plane and everyone else you pretty much changed the design."
Yeah.
So
now it's your like, but pretty much what he says is that Def has the design, they changed it, and now they have to figure out what's the next design.
Yeah.
Because death is imminent. It's gonna get you some way or another. So yeah, that's their whole. Then now the plot changes to how do we what's gonna happen? We need to figure out who's next.
Yeah. So. He also says, "In death, there are no accidents, no coincidence, no mishaps, no escapes."
And he says it very Candyman, you know.
Yeah. He also they say bye to him, and then he tells Alex, "See you soon," but he does it with one finger like this, I feel, and I'm like, are you supposed to pretend you have a hook in your hand? Because I know who you are. Trust me, I know who you are.
Candyman.
Yeah.
Baby.
But then Clear and Alex are having coffee, and this is when Alex is trying to figure out how to defeat the design that now they have created. He says that, hey, the death that we're supposed to have can start at any moment. Like, I can cause it right now, and it can come in an hour, a day, 40 years from now. Whatever I do now can affect the future.
Yep.
So then Carter shows up, very angry. Every time he sees Alex, is like, oh, it's on site. It's on site. So he U-turns his car really fast.
I do love that everyone's here.
Everyone's here. Plot. Everyone's here.
Billy is riding a bicycle
and almost gets hit.
He literally falls and almost gets run over by a car.
And also changes faces.
Oh, that's actually kind of interesting that it avoided him. Because he could have died. He literally just easily could have died there. It wasn't his turn.
And it alludes that he's going to die by a car.
Oh. Interesting.
Also in this scene, Devin Sawa sees a bus through the reflection of the glass, but then he turns around and the bus isn't there.
Yeah,
which is alluding to something else. And then Carter gets there, trying to fight Alex again. Billy gets there and it's like, dude, you almost ran me over. Then the teacher comes out and it's like, oh, what a coincidence that you're here too.
I was buying coffee.
It's like,
what the fuck?
Then
they're fighting, but then Terry, which is the girlfriend,
I know this is why Carter's super mad, because she's leaving town.
Oh yes,
because of what happened.
Yeah,
and she's like, you know what? Fuck you and fuck you. I don't need you. And Carter, if you still want to be angry, you can just fucking drop And then she gets hit by the bus and dies.
And everyone doesn't react. Everyone's like, wait, what? And they're all covered in blood. That death is pretty cool. It does come out of nowhere.
It comes out of nowhere, but it's not. I don't find it funny, but like in Scary Movie 2, when Brenda says, "Don't split the pole now. That's very, very bad luck." Two people right behind her split the pole, and then they get hit by the bus, and then behind the bus it says, "How's my driving?"
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was very. I don't know. I thought of that.
Scary movie, man.
Yeah. Also,
they do it different.
Also, Mean Girls. Regina George gets hit by the bus, but she lives.
Oh, that's true. You see, she escaped death. She cheated death.
But yeah, then she died. But this scene is weird because to me, you would think something sad. It'll cut to something super sad. No, nah, it's just Alex chilling.
Yeah, they're like, fuck her,
and he's just watching TV, looking real chill, like nothing happened.
It's like that's the thing. Nobody reacts to the deaths. It's like whatever.
I think 2 weeks passed, from my understanding, or I think some time passed.
I'm telling you, the editing to this is like horrendous.
Yeah,
it's just like really everywhere. Weird,
but Clear is trying to call him. He doesn't want to talk to her, so that's what gets me feeling that some time passed. This is when the news revealed that the whole thing with the airplane was really much of the fueling system. It kind of went into here, and it made the airplane combust.
Yeah.
This is when he figures out the design. He puts everyone in their chairs, and he does the whole map to the explosion.
Yeah, because every turn pretty much was like an explosion, a mini explosion, I guess. And it was like under Todd's seat. Then it was supposed to be.
So it went to Todd, then Terry, then the teacher. And it cuts there because he's like, "Oh shit, Miss Luton is next," and that's when he goes to her house.
And I do like this death scene. I feel like this one was a really cool one.
Yes, because it was the one with the most tension because it was the longest. I feel like it was the longest one in the movie.
Like they took their time. Oh, yes, true. Clear's was pretty good too.
Hers was slower. Clear's was more upbeat.
Yeah, because it was the end. It's the third act. So. Hers, like, they took their time with her, and I do like that she's like super paranoid. Yep. Like
she's on the phone with someone.
Yeah, she's like, I can't wait to fucking get out. And she looks outside, and Devisar was just standing there.
Who?
Oh, Alex.
Yeah, if you gonna correct me, I'm gonna correct your ass.
Okay, you called me out, hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite.
So, but it's funny because that you see. Because Alex looks super fucking suspicious walking in front of her house. He's like looking at the window, but sorry. For the ones that can't see me, I'm looking very suspicious right now at the camera. And he's very like, hey, Miss Luton. You don't see me, girl. You don't see me.
Like, bitch, you've been caught twice looking mad suspicious.
Oh, he looks real suspicious later with what he does.
Oh,
but
my goodness.
She's like, girl, let me call you back because I'm scared as fuck right now. And the other girl's like, right. So then
it's Brenda. Bitch, I get it.
So then she calls someone. She goes, Agent Shrek. It's Fiona. Alex is outside my house.
Outside my house. And I think he's gonna kill me.
So then, I don't know. If I was Alex, I would have at least tried knocking on the door like, yo, girl, you next, and I'm trying to save you. Nah, he goes to her tires to see if he can pop her tires, and I'm like, what if she gets in her car? That's even worse. But the agents catch him, and they're like, dude, what you doing? He's like, I'm just checking for air.
It's like, oh, okay. What a nice citizen.
So they get him in the car. And this is again cutting back and forth. So with Alex's basically scene is that he's just getting questioned of why was he there? What are your intentions? Like all this stuff, just pretty much questioning him.
Yeah.
So then with Miss Luton, she's preparing herself some tea and is very tense because she has a gas stove and she's about to turn it on with this big match and you think it's gonna explode, but it doesn't.
Yeah, but it's like in slow motion, so it's like a big explosion. Yeah. Like it sounds like an explosion. Oh,
and then Alex, before he went to her house, he saw something leading to what's gonna happen to her.
It's the wasn't it the ashes? There was someone was like burning.
Later. That's on his way to her house.
Oh, that's right.
But
that's
right. She sees something. But actually, and his scene with the agents is very interesting because when they dismiss him, for some reason, the room lights up super red, like something was on fire behind the camera.
Yeah, which is super interesting. It's super subtle.
So it's kind of like Death is there and it's trying to like, hey, this is what's gonna happen to her.
Yeah.
But the agents don't see it. So she tries the tea.
She tries to make tea, but then for some reason, she sees something behind her. So she turns around real quick, but she's like, "Fuck, I'm just scared." Because she just saw Alex.
Yeah.
So she's like, whatever. So she goes to drink the tea, but then she tosses it behind
I
her.
think it didn't taste good.
I guess, but she didn't even taste it.
I thought she did.
Did she? I can't remember.
I thought she went.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And but she tosses it like behind her, and then she puts it down, does it
Did
again.
the mug say something triggering?
It was like the class. I think it was like the class.
Oh, maybe that's
mug.
why the mug said something. It might have been like, "Oh God."
Like this is
But
scary.
then she sets it down, and she puts liquor in it, and the mug cracks,
Yep.
and it starts spilling out liquor. Which okay. I'm a person that when I put something in my cup, I tend to look down when I grab it to see if I spilled anything to clean it up because I'm a very, very clean person, and I don't like leaving like stuff mess on my counters. So I was surprised that she just doesn't notice that it's leaking because I feel like I would have noticed.
If it's leaking, anybody
and
would have
also,
thought about it.
as she's walking and it's leaking, I would have stepped on it, and I would have, even with socks on, you would have felt it.
But
So
yeah,
I
no,
found
the
this-
whole time she's like drinking, so it's like, oh, she can't see because she's drinking it,
But
and I'm like,
you're pretty much you're walking on it, girl.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get it. Let's be real. But she doesn't notice it. Whatever, it's fine. And then she's packing to move, and she puts her cup on top of her old ass box ass computer, and
it is leaking everywhere.
and it's leaking on it. It causes the computer to then eventually explode on her, and a shard of glass hits her neck. She goes over to the kitchen to try to get herself some help. As this is happening, this is when he's walking towards her house, and this is when he sees the man messing with the fire and the ashes, and he's like, "Oh shit, I need to hurry up."
So he starts running over there.
Mhm.
She's like dripping a bunch of blood all over the floor.
Yep.
So then, but she's holding onto her neck, trying to get something.
And she left the alcohol bottle on the counter next to the stove, which then that explodes.
Mm-hmm.
She falls over, and her knife stand falls on her, and hits her in the chest area.
And she's still alive. It's just that because it hasn't punctured all the way through.
Yeah, because it was. I mean, it fell, but it wasn't like a Michael stab. It was kind of like a.
Which, did you notice that on the door behind her while she was on the computer, there was a stained glass art, and it was a knife. It was a dagger.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I see it.
Yeah, these movies need like rewatches.
I know,
for
yeah.
you to catch everything.
But then Alex gets there,
Mm-hmm.
and he like everything's on fire, and I'm like, you are so
But
ridiculous.
the thing is, he's trying to help her, and the chair falls over and like stabs the knife more into her.
And she dies.
She
She's
dies.
dead.
He decides to take out the knife, and he's just standing with it, looking like fucking little Michael Myers. And I'm like, dude, you look even more suspicious now.
Like, thank God nobody was there to see that.
Through the window. But then he knows that like the explosion, so he runs out the house. It explodes, and of course Billy's there. So then Billy thinks that he did it.
Okay, why the fuck is it that Billy's there all the time
Billy's
riding a motherfucking bike? Is he a newspaper boy?
Because 20 minutes have passed, and we need to catch up with the other characters.
Okay, fine. And he doesn't question it. He just
No.
goes, Alex, and then the house blows up, and then that's it.
But he snitches because later on they say that he talked to the agents, and Billy, they straight up say, "Hey, Billy told the agents you were at Miss Newton's house."
And he's like, what the fuck, Billy? That's fucked up.
So then this is when, so the agents go up to clear. They're looking for Alex. We don't know where Alex went. He kind of just disappears at this point. So she's basically getting followed. She decides to meet up with Billy and Carter at the memorial to go get Alex. So they're driving, and they find Alex at like this lake, which their plan is to take him to Clear's old dad's cabin, which, fun fact, same cabin used at Lake Placid.
That's super cool.
This
And-
is when we get Clear's backstory.
Yeah, it's like a super long, and it's like, oh, I'm an orphan. My mom's a hoe. Whatever.
Oh
And
God.
That's pretty much what she says,
Okay,
though.
well, so her thing is that, so her dad, I guess, got robbed, but he didn't know he was getting robbed because
Yeah.
someone came up from behind him, I guess, with a gun and said, "Oh, don't turn around."
And
but his
he-
instinct was to turn around because he thought it was a friend.
Yeah.
So he got shot.
Yeah.
Um.
And then the mom, I guess, remarried with some asshole
Mhm.
and then disappeared with him. I
Mhm.
guess. I don't know. But those are the deleted scene for this. And literally the scene is that we escaped death. We should make the best out of it. Let's fuck. That's what they say.
I mean,
pretty much.
and the alternate ending, she got a baby, so I get it.
Yeah. So I guess this scene is supposed to be like, hey, they're together.
Because after this, she starts calling him baby.
Yeah. Like literally in one part, they say baby to each other. And we both looked at each other and
I was
was
like,
like, what?
when did they become a thing?
Like, it just
It's only been a
randomly.
day.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
But So their plan is to hide Alex in the cabin in the woods, which I was like, oh, wow, that won't come out for another 11 years. But hey, go girl, snap at it. So they're asking each other like, who's next? They're asking him who's next. Alex doesn't say anything, so Carter just is like, oh, it's me. And I was like, we don't establish who was next.
No,
because once he saw that it was Miss Luton, he kind of left us and doesn't tell the audience who's next. So we don't know now who's next.
Yeah,
either.
because it's like because we know. He didn't know. That's true. He
No
didn't
one-
know either.
No.
Because he's like, would it make it even better if you knew it was you?
Mhm. I think maybe Alex knew, but we didn't know that. We didn't know that he knew that. We know that he didn't know that. We know that we know. That didn't make any sense. But
Bitch, the fuck you say just now?
I don't know.
What the fuck you say to me?
Because also Billy's like super nervous because he doesn't know who's next either. Like the two boys are super anxious.
Yeah,
at
I
this
mean,
point.
Billy even's like, oh fuck, you gotta say something because
But
I'm nervous.
Throughout the whole movie, I love Billy's a little comedic because he's like, so do you think if I ask this girl out, she'll say yes now?
Yeah, oh
It's
yeah,
like, do you know? And it's like, he doesn't know the fucking future, Billy.
but it's like Billy's that idiot. It's
Yeah.
like he's an anxious wreck.
He's still
a
Stifler.
dumbass. Yeah, he's a Stifler without the horniness.
Yeah.
That's him.
He might be a little stoned.
Maybe.
But so Carter goes crazy. He revs his car and he's running through red lights.
Yeah,
through
'cause
everything.
he's like, fuck
death
it.
is not gonna get me. Yeah.
He's like, whatever. What if we die? Whatever, right?
Mhm.
And he then stops at a railroad track.
But I do like this because Alex sees a train in the reflection before
yeah.
they even stop.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, so it's gonna be like a train death scene in this movie.
But we don't know who.
We don't know
yet.
who it is. Everyone thinking it is Carter just because he wasn't speaking up about it. So sometimes in movies, like the main character
like-
doesn't tell you because it's like we kind of know who might be next.
Yeah, so in this one, it's like, oh, fuck. And then everyone, he stops.
The broken seatbelt.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's
Devin
true.
Sawa sees a broken seatbelt.
Yeah, so then he stops at the train railroad, and then you see the train,
Mm-hmm.
and Stifler over here is like, can't open the motherfucking door.
Yep.
Everyone's just standing there being like, oh, shit, there's a train. It's
Well-
like, get the fuck out.
Well,
Hurry up.
The two in the back are freaking out.
No, they weren't for a little while.
Oh, well, I mean, because the train was so kind of far away. But
So then
everyone gets out except Carter.
It's like Carter, and he's like,
Mhm.
"Fuck it, it's not my turn, right?
Mhm.
It's whatever. It's not gonna get me."
Yep. And then he
It-
tries to be all cool.
And then he tries to get out,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Oh my god!"
Well,
he's scared.
he even tries to start the car, and now the car won't start either. Which I was like, plot,
Yeah.
coincidence. But
But I mean, it's like, oh shit, it's his
Mhm.
turn. He
Mhm.
goes to try to take out his seatbelt. It won't fucking take
Yup.
out his seatbelt. And
Yup.
it's like, ah, damn.
But the train gets closer and closer, and Alex is trying to save him. And like the last second, the seatbelt rips. He saves him, and we're like, "Oh shit!" So then Billy's like, "Oh shit, you were next."
I was like, you're next. You're next.
Yeah, I'm
like
not
it's gonna come and
die.
get you.
And we see like a shard of metal underneath the train, and then this shard gets hit, and it
Because he says, we need to get the fuck away from him because he's the one that's next. It's gonna get him, and
Mhm.
I don't want to be near this when it
Mhm.
happens. And what do we get?
Billy gets
Beheaded.
Billy gets beheaded. There's a lot of bees there.
Billy Betts beheaded.
Yeah, Billy gets
Decapitated.
in this scene,
And it's cool as fuck. That's
Yep.
such a cool death scene because it looks legit. Like it looks cool.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like his whole head. It's like from like half of his head.
it's
cut off.
like South Park Canadian style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his head flies away, and everyone was like, what just happened? Because Carter was supposed to die.
Yes, so it was Carter the whole time, but then Devin Sawa figures out, like, oh shit, we cheated death. It was Carter, but then since Carter cheated death again, it went right to the next
It's
person.
skipped. He did that Uno card skip to death.
Yep. So now they said that if we can cheat out the person that's supposed to go, to just go to the next person, and then we basically gotta
Continue
keep
doing that.
until So we get Alex at the cabin in the woods, and he's
He
death
duct
proofing the whole cabin.
Yeah. The doors, edges have duct tape. He's wearing gloves. You
Yep.
know, he is being super safe. All the windows are boarded down. Everything. But the motherfucker got an old ass lantern with
Yep.
an open flame. Which
I'm
I'm like, really?
Fire.
Fire couldn't. That's not available.
I would have
anymore.
just been sitting in the dark.
Yeah, it was daytime.
What? No, was it?
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
I swear to God, behind him there was sunlight hitting the fucking
Well,
thing.
that must have been a mistake because no, it wasn't because that's the same night that he runs out of the cabin in nighttime and then Claire's like
It
Claire's
was
dying.
It was definitely
Unless
a mistake.
It had to be because I was like, I think it's the same night, baby.
Ugh, it's like this dude. Oh, and then we get the wind again underneath the door.
Yup, it
Hit
comes
blowing
through.
leaves.
Yep, and then it starts opening this door next to him, and he closes it quick, and then like a fucking knife comes through the door, and I'm like, "Ooh, baby, you almost died."
Yeah, and then I love that he's like, you're tricky. I overlooked that, but not anymore." And he slams the door closed. And I told Carlos, like, what if Magic hit the knife,
If a knife
stabs
would have
him?
went through, yeah, like Dev was like, "Fuck you, dude. Still got you."
So the thing, okay, my question is then, was he next then?
No. I think that was just showing us paranoia from him.
From him, it's like he's now just thinking that everything's gonna come and get him.
So he figures out that it's actually Claire who's next and not him because he's like, "Oh shit, she was actually in front of me on the airplane, not I wasn't in front of her." So he's technically the last one. And as this is happening, he runs out of the cabin. The police reach him. He gets on a boat and crosses Lake Placid. And I was like, how far is her house? This to me made no sense because we don't know how far they were. It made it seem like her cabin was super far.
Like super secluded from society.
From the society and from the neighborhood they live in. But a boat ride and then wherever he stopped, he just ran the rest of the way.
He Ubered all the way.
I guess. So there's a lightning storm. Some lightning poles break. The wires break off. It starts hitting the floor. Clear's like, I'm inside the house, I'm good. But then she notices her dog is outside, which, Clear, why would you leave your dog out?
Yeah.
You cancel for that one.
Yeah, like you kind of deserve being dead now.
Yeah. Like, don't ever leave your dog out like that, especially during a storm. You're just like, oh, fuck it, the dog's outside.
That sucks for him.
But then she goes to try to save the dog. As this is happening, it's like super, super tense because then it hits the pool like an antenna. Like we have antennas anymore. Hits the pool. The pool breaks. The electricity hits it, but they get out just in time. Her and the dog. She gets back in the house. All the fucking wiring is exploding everywhere around her.
It's like Death is really trying to get her.
She gets in the car. She tries to back out of the garage, but then she's stuck.
And then like the fucking open the garage door machinery breaks and goes to hit her, and she's like, oh, what the fuck?
There's a lot happening.
Yeah.
Devin Sabo, Alex, makes it there, and he goes to save her. He's telling her, don't touch anything because you're rubber,
grounded by the rubber.
If you touch anything, you're going to get electrocuted. So an oxygen tank goes under the car too, and I'm like, God damn, like they really trying to murder this girl.
She just trying to like save her dog.
I would have, baby. I got you, Charlie or Lala.
Yeah, I was like, Lala wouldn't be in that situation.
No, she wouldn't. She'd be inside with me. Charlie wouldn't be outside either. Girl, just don't have your dog outside next time. That's don't
so
do that.
Rude.
But he decides, I'm gonna grab the wire, get out the car. Fuck it, I'm doing it because technically she's next. So he thinks that he can just survive. So he does it. He explodes back, and then we don't know what happens to him, and it cuts to 6 months later.
No, he goes, oh yeah, that's true, because she runs up, she's like, baby, again, and it's like, what? And he looks fine. It's just that his hands are all fucked up.
Yep.
And then it just cuts.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about both endings?
Okay.
We can talk about the original one for like the original one.
Okay, let's just talk about this one.
Yeah,
we'll do that.
So in this original ending, cuts to 6 months later, they're back on an airplane. Clear is a brand new woman. She's blonde now.
Yep. Carter, she wanted to match fucking Slim Shady too.
Yep. Carter and Alex are now the best of friends, and they're at a cafe in Paris.
Oh yeah, because they flew there and they're fine now.
And
which I would have never flown again.
Oh hell no, fuck no.
But they think, they're like, oh well, we cheated.
I'm taking a ship,
whatever.
Not even a ship. They haven't done that one.
Taking a shit?
A ship.
A ship.
Like a cruiser.
That's true. They haven't.
But the next one's supposed to be about first responders, so we'll see.
Okay.
Anyway, so they're at this cafe, and Alex wants to keep talking about the situation and how they cheated it, and then he starts having like these crazy visions. And he
brought
the map.
The map again.
He's like, I'm supposed to still be next. He freaks out. and then this is when we see that Clear has a fucking vision of a bus. And as Alex is walking away, she's like, "Oh, Alex," and he almost gets hit by the bus, and all this stuff just starts happening. Like some nails fall off, like because there's construction too by them.
Mm-hmm. So it's like you see that falling off. It's just like, again, strange coincidences that are happening. So then the bus misses him, and I'm like, okay, so does that mean that he avoided death? But I guess nobody intervened.
No, it's just that she intervened.
Yeah, I guess.
So I guess she was next?
No, because it skips. So it goes back to the earliest one.
So it would be Carter.
But then you see the sign.
So there's a big old sign on top of the building. It swings down. Carter saves Alex.
Yeah.
So then it's like, "Oh, I saved you, you're fine." And then this is when Alex is like, "So who's next?" And then you see the sign come behind him, and it just cuts black.
Yeah, which is a really cool ending. I feel like that's a good ending.
So he technically skipped it twice.
So I would think that I guess you physically have to like save somebody.
Okay.
I think Claire was just kind of like the messenger. She's like, hey,
Yeah.
because he could have died with the sign.
Yeah, that's true. We also don't know if he died with Carter and the sign.
Yeah, we don't know.
Because he was also right in front of Carter.
But I think you said, like, you read that, like, they died off screen, like, and supposedly
that's why we never see him in the sequel. Which I don't know if they were going by this scene or the alternative. Because in the alternative, we find out that he did die when he tried to save. Yeah, during trying to save her from the car thing. And then she was pregnant with his baby. She had his baby.
And then in this one, it's less subtle, like, or it's not like as obvious that she's seeing signs. Because what happens is that she gives birth, names it after Alex, and then she's putting him to sleep or whatever, to go to bed, putting him to sleep, Jesus, and and then like she's looking at a picture of Alex and her at the funeral, and the baby carousel starts spinning,
and you hear the wind again.
You hear the wind, and it's like, I at first thought was like, oh my god, are they gonna kill the fucking baby? And
I mean, they did in the airplane.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah. But then she turns around and goes, oh, Alex.
Yeah, like Alex is watching over them. Yeah, basically,
which is kind of a weird.
Yeah, take. So I can see why this ending was not used, because this ending would have made this movie like ugh.
Yeah,
this ending was very long and ugh. It's
just boring. I feel like it really slows down the movie.
I feel like the ending that they used with the sign coming back and it ends like, oh shit, what happened next? And then they added their names to the memorial. The 5 other ones that died, like Todd, Billy, Mrs. Luton, and Terry. And we see them,
and Carter's at the memorial, mourning Terry,
and they interact, and that's pretty much what happens in that alternate
ending. It's just like the little leaf falls down, and I think it's like it's supposed to be like, well, there's an end to this, and maybe I wouldn't be surprised that if they got accepted for a second movie, maybe, and they're oh well, let's leave it open for a sequel.
Yeah, because so in the second one, spoiler alert, skip a minute if you want. It's going by the original ending that we saw with the sign, because she's in basically she's in an institution, because she's like, I'm not gonna die, and she's in a room, a white room, and nothing's with her, so she knows that she's not in danger.
Yeah,
but the minute she leaves that room, something happens
perishes.
To her.
And it's like, I guess my thing is like, let's leave it open-ended.
Yeah.
So that way we can make more movies out of this. And then in the alternative, it kind of feels like it's like they cheated death, they're good forever. Like Alex had to be sacrificed in order for it to end.
Even though we follow brand new characters in every movie.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. So that was Final Destination from 2000. I hope y'all enjoyed that.
I did enjoy that movie.
Which, it was just the anniversary just passed on the 17th. So what a coincidence.
Happy birthday.
Oh God, what a fucking coincidence.
Coincidences. The light fell. The birthday.
Stop.
Oh my God, Carlos, I think you're next.
Don't say that shit. Yeah, I'll play with that.
All right, so now we're going to do our reviews for the movie. My phone is about to die, so hopefully it doesn't die.
So you can go first.
All right, so I'll go first. Let's see. My 5-star says, BFFs who poop together, stay together. Reference to Todd and Alex
Yeah.
pooping at the airport. I did like that. I thought it was really funny.
That was funny.
So I love this 1-star review. I think it's so funny. This person gave it a 1 and said, I predicted everything that happened in this movie. I may have been wrong every single time, but it was extremely predictable.
What?
It's like, what happened? She went through so many emotions through that.
She's like, oh God. Oh, because you think they're gonna die one way, but they die another.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's so predictable that you're gonna be wrong every time.
Yep. So my 5-star review is, now this is an epic fucking movie. I love everything from the goofy 2000s feel to the intricate details that foreshadow pretty much anything.
Yeah, it is. I do like that. There's so many details that literally predict the entire every single death scene.
Yep. And then my 1-star review is, are we gonna ignore the fact that her name is Clear?
It is so weird. It's like they literally could just put. I want to think that everyone just, instead of saying Claire, they just mispronounce her name to Clear.
To Clear?
Because it is so odd.
And the second one, you could it's like, yo, Clear.
Ugh, they like Clear. Like they overpronounced this.
Girl, we have a Shrek and a Clear. Like,
That's fucked up. And a Hitchcock.
yeah.
All right. So, daddy of the movie?
Ooh.
We got Stan, which, if none of you know, David Sawa was actually Stan from the Eminem music video.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know that shit. I just thought he really looked like him. But we got Slim Shady,
Yeah.
David Sawa.
I'm gonna have to go with Slim Shady.
You think so because you're blinded by his?
By the way he aged. Jesus Christ.
he did age well.
Yeah.
Man, this is a hard one.
He was also a cool character. Like,
Yeah, I like
he
him.
tried saving everybody, and everybody was a little bitch.
He's a likable character
Yeah.
here. I do like him. I never felt annoyed by him.
Carter was hot, but he was just so angry. I'm like,
He
Carter,
was
you need to relax.
fucking mad. I honestly, mine has to be Billy.
Okay.
I just loved Billy because he was just like a mess. He's just like an idiot and a mess the entire. And then that he's always at the right places riding a fucking bike. I
Yeah.
always thought that was
He's
so funny.
riding his bike everywhere. I was like, where are you going?
And then a favorite death scene.
Ooh, okay. So I would have to probably give it to the teacher, Miss
Yeah,
Newton,
the-
because
she has the
it was the
most-
most tense. Even though I don't like her, hers was the most tense.
I can see that.
Because hers just like shit just kept happening to her.
Yeah, it just
Mm-hmm.
it was like the water, and you're like following it, like whoa, what's gonna happen exactly? And
Mm-hmm.
then I love that it's so extreme, and like there's fire everywhere, and what kills her is a fucking knife.
Yep,
Like
yep.
that's what kills her, like the most unrelated thing in the whole entire kitchen.
Which the exterior of the house was built for this movie, and the nice people of Vancouver did not want them to blow up this house because it looked very nice.
Oh really? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's funny. And they're like, oh, they watch the movie going, that sucks.
Yeah.
1 star. My favorite has to be Todd's. I
Okay.
think that one really sets the tone to the movie.
Mhm.
And even though, the whole water thing is kind of like goofy, the whole like, choking scene was
Yeah.
insane. Like that
Yeah.
really got me because even the toes curling, the eyes going bloodshot, like on camera, it's not like they cut. It was like
No,
you
you're
see
seeing
it.
Yeah.
And it's. I thought it was super extreme, and I think that one really sets the tone to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like
for
I
sure.
really enjoyed that scene. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think that's it. So okay, so next week. So we were kind of debating earlier
Yeah.
because we were debating this week, but we're like, no, let's just do this one. I know X is out now,
And we
so
want to watch it
We
so
want
bad.
to watch it. So next week we're either gonna get X or Saw
Mm-hmm.
or Saw X. I'm kidding.
X-Mass.
So you guys will see by next Monday. I don't know yet. But that's next week. Stay tuned for us. We have special surprises coming for you guys in the next couple of months.
Yeah, we're so excited.
So stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So
That's pretty much it.
and remember,
You cannot cheat death.
Horror Daddies.
see you in your dreams.